All right, welcome back to Reviews by Hunter. That's me, I'm Hunter, and today we have top 10 best movies of 2025. I've been really excited about making this video, and now it's finally here. Just a quick disclaimer, all of the movies that I list, these are just my opinion. This is a subjective list. If your movie didn't make it on the list, that doesn't mean that it's good or bad. I might have just not seen it. I did not see every movie in 2025. I watched roughly between 35 and 40 movies total. But, anyways, let's get into it. So, first, I wanted to start off with some honorable mentions. I have three honorable mentions. These were movies that were really, really good, but I just thought that unfortunately there were some other movies that were just a little bit better that would actually make my official list. So, first, we have The Life of Chuck. This one starred Tom Hiddleston. It was like a sci-fi fantasy type of deal. Really interesting movie. At first, when I was watching it, I thought it was going to set itself up to be a horror film. I actually went and saw it on a Mystery Movie Monday, so I didn't even know what movie I was seeing until it started. So this was a complete surprise to me, and it's actually one of my favorite movies of the year. Really cool movie. I highly suggest checking out The Life of Chuck. The other honorable mention on here is a war movie. That's right, Warfare. I believe that one was brought to us by A24. One of the most realistic war movies I've ever seen. Hyper realistic, a movie based off the actual real memories of the soldiers that were fighting at this particular battle. Once the movie gets going, it's kind of just nonstop action and just shows kind of the cruelty and the horrors of being in war. I certainly, after watching that movie, kind of realized, I don't really want to be in war. You know what I mean? This stuff is brutal. It's unforgiving. Some of those scenes were hard to look at, man. Like some of the injuries that the soldiers get while watching this film was just hard to watch. But very well done film. Some pretty good actors in it as well. Including the guy that plays Johnny Storm in the newest Fantastic Four. His name's escaping me. Joseph Quinn. He does a really good job. But that is one of my honorable mentions, Warfare. If you like war movies, this one was really, really well done. This last honorable mention, it is an anime, and it is Chainsaw Man, the Reze arc. So, Chainsaw Man has not been one of my favorite animes. I feel like it got overhyped. I watched the, I believe, first and only season of it a few years ago and thought it was just okay, but I decided I would go check out this movie as a new movie reviewer, and it kind of blew me away. It's one of the best animated films I think I've seen in a while. The action scenes absolutely blew me away. The way that they were animated, just so much color and so much attention to detail and just every last movement that characters take. I don't know going forward if Chainsaw Man will be able to continue to live up to the hype of this, but if it can, it'll probably become one of my more, one of the animes I was most disappointed with to being one of my more favorite ones if they can bring back some of the flavor that they brought in that movie. So Chainsaw Man Reze arc was really, really good. Highly recommend that one. But now, let's get to the top 10. All right, so coming in at number 10, another movie that I kind of just was introduced to completely caught me off guard. I don't remember seeing any type of hype or media interviews or trailers for this movie. I'm talking about K-pop Demon Hunters. Yes, K-pop Demon Hunters that dropped on Netflix earlier, I think more towards the beginning or middle of the year. This was an awesome movie. I mean, who hasn't heard of K-pop Demon Hunters by now? I think what's so awesome about this movie is that it had three really likable main characters. It had really good music. Well, it wouldn't be a Reviews by Hunter review without my phone running out of storage mid-video. But as I was saying, K-pop Demon Hunters, amazing music, likable characters, music that was so good, in fact, that I heard Golden on the radio. I can't remember the last animated film where the music was so good that they played songs on the radio. I mean, kids, this became a fan favorite for kids, but also adults, I think. And it also is just very rewatchable because the plot is very easy to follow, and it's just kind of this story about self-identity, belonging, and I loved it. I really liked it. This is gonna be one of my more favorite animated films to go back and rewatch. So that was number 10, K-pop Demon Hunters. Coming in at number 9. So this next one, honestly, kind of I didn't expect it to make my top 10 um, best movies of the year going into it. This is Final Destination Bloodline. So, when I made my review for this movie, I did say I wasn't a fan of the acting, particularly the lead actress didn't seem to have a lot of charisma or screen presence for me. However, Final Destination Bloodlines was so much fun. It's gory, it's bloody. The horror in this movie is really really well done. And there's just so many moments where I'm like, oh my god, what's going to happen next? Some moments they'll tease you with like the moment where the a glass shard fell into like the drink mix that they were making, and then it's showing everybody drinking from the glasses, and then nothing ever actually happens for that. I thought someone was gonna bite into it and like cut their tongue off or something, but some really gruesome, brutal scenes happen in this movie, The Final Destination Bloodlines. I haven't actually watched all of them, but this one was really good. I've heard from other people that have that this was their favorite of all of the ones throughout the franchise. So this one was really good. Besides the poor acting, that's why it's lower on my list. I wish they could have maybe found a different lead, but I don't think they were going for great acting. I think they wanted this to be carried by the blood, the gore, and all of the violence that happens in this film. But it was very enjoyable and entertaining from pretty much from start to finish for me. Now, coming in at number 8, this is a movie that I just had so much fun with. It's basically an action movie with race cars. I'm talking about F1 starring Brad Pitt. This movie was fast, it was fun, and I really felt like this movie felt like traditional filmmaking is the best way I could put it. This movie feels like it came from like 2009 or 2010, just the way they structured it. Even just from the casting, you have your big action movie star in Brad Pitt. Of course, in the movie, he's going to have a very attractive love interest that has, witty banter going back and forth, and that's okay. It's a very, and you also have the mentor and the young buck that are kind of, but they're also competing in this movie in F1. So I really liked that dynamic between those two, between Brad Pitt's character and JP. There's some scenes in here that were kind of like, whoa, like when JP is that arrogant, young, cocky racer, doesn't listen to the mentor, Brad Pitt, flips his car over, is injured, can't compete for a couple of weeks. There were some fun moments in this movie. Not only that, I thought the soundtrack was freaking awesome in this movie. I listened to the F1 soundtrack on my way home because I was just like so hyped up by this. In my head, I'm thinking, should I start driving F1 cars? The answer is no. But a great movie nonetheless, okay? If you like an action movie with an action movie star and fast cars and drama and traditional filmmaking romance, F1 is a great movie. The next one. Now, this one, I was actually really scared when it first came out because I've seen so many bad spin-offs of great movies. I'm talking about From the World of John Wick, Ballerina. Loved this movie, man. Absolutely loved this movie. One of the best spin-offs I've ever seen. They kept the violence that we loved from the John Wick franchise. We get our new main character who, I'm not going to lie to you, I'm kind of forgetting what her name was. Really quickly, let's look it up. From the World of John Wick, Ballerina. She's played by Ana de Armas, though. Her character's name is Eva Macaro. Eve Macaro. So Eve Macaro is a much different character than John Wick in the film. One of her mentors in the movie even tells her at one point, you need to learn to fight like a girl, and she does. She pokes people in the eyes, she kicks them in the nuts, she uses objects, she grabs things from her surrounding and bash people over the head. She starts fighting in a way that's advantageous to her, and I freaking thought it was awesome. There is a huge kill count in this movie, a lot of blood, a lot of guns, a lot of knives. I think the flamethrower scene was freaking it was cinematic, it was spectacle, it was fun and amazing. I really liked From the World of John Wick, Ballerina, and we get even more than a cameo from Keanu Reeves' John Wick in the film, and I loved that in the film they showed that Eve Macaro was still no match for John Wick. He is still the Baba Yaga, but this was just a movie to show the perspective from somebody else within the world of John Wick, and it was awesome. Gosh, I just love movies like this where there's just nonstop fighting pretty much for 2 hours and 5 minutes. But yeah, if you were worried about this movie not living up to the John Wick hype and you haven't checked it out yet, I highly recommend it. That was my number 7. Number 6. Now, number 6, when I reviewed it, I think I was a little bit harsher on it than I would have liked to be. The more I thought about the movie, the more I really, really liked it. And I ended up dressing up as the main character for Halloween. I'm talking about James Gunn's 2025 Superman. Now, some of you are probably thinking, really, Hunter? Superman on a top 10 best movies of 2025? Yes. This film had such great casting from top to bottom. The casting was amazing. From Superman to Lex Luthor to just really all the characters in this film. I love that I left this theater feeling a sense of hope and like I should just like start like going and like helping out people and saving people. I love that Superman in this movie is so different from the Man of Steel version. He's very, I think they wanted to depict him as being more human than the Man of Steel version and more enthusiastic and hopeful. There's a scene where he literally rescues a squirrel in slow motion. There's a really cool scene where he saves this woman who's driving on I believe it was like a bridge or a road that's in the process of being destroyed, and he rises from the smoke. That was a really nice scene for spectacle. I loved his speech at the end. I do think they should have taken out the comic relief with Crypto the dog at the end of that speech, but it was still good. Lex Luthor, the guy that plays him, I'm forgetting his name, but he did a great job. Number 1 hater of the year when we're talking about movies. He hated Superman with his entire being. There's some good action in this film. I did feel like Superman was on his back more than I'd like, but again, I guess they were trying to depict a Superman that is, he's still learning, he's still growing, he's flawed a little bit, but he's still Superman. And dude, at one point in the movie, it goes from 0 to 100, where Lex Luthor shoots a guy in the head, and the guy that he shoots in the head was someone that had fed Superman before, and he does it while Superman is watching, and he's like, "Don't give him anything, Superman. Don't tell him anything. It was an honor to serve you, Superman." Dude, had me tearing up in the theater, bro. But Superman, of course, comes out on top. Infinitely better than the Man of Steel version. Sorry, Man of Steelers and Zack Snyder fan people. This next movie is a horror film that was so much better than I thought it was going to be. So much better. I'm talking about, and the on-screen chemistry. I'm talking about Together, starring Dave Franco and Alison Brie, real-life couple, which explains the amazing chemistry that they had on screen. I don't even know where to start with Together. I think the reason that I loved it so much is because from a horror aspect, I saw things that I have not seen from other horror films ever. So it was completely new and alive to me. I'm particularly thinking about the scene where he wakes up in the middle of the night and he's swallowing the hair of Alison Brie and trying to pull it out. And they did it like as a jump scare at first, but then it just keeps going. That was nightmare fuel. And just all the scenes where they are physically fusing together and they have to rip skin apart. At one point, I think they had to use like a chainsaw or like some kind of sawing tool to split them apart. You have a cult subplot going on in this. You have I just loved everything about Together. It was a really well done horror thriller movie. I'm gonna go back and rewatch it. I feel like this movie didn't get talked about enough, but it does such a good job at making me feel like I don't know what's about to happen next. Oh, that scene was really nasty. Oh, that was hard to look at. But nothing that was so over the top that I couldn't stomach it. You know what I'm saying? But again, if there was an award for best chemistry on screen, Dave Franco and Alison Brie win that award for me. Together is a really well done, fresh horror movie. Next on this list, and really from here on out, I need to disclaim this. From here on out are movies that I thought were 10 out of 10s. I struggled the most with this part, okay, from 4 up, because any of these movies could have been shuffled around from 1 through 4. But, interestingly enough, this next one is a movie that was my last official review for 2025. I'm talking about Marty Supreme, starring Timothée Chalamet. We have some really good performances in this movie, Marty Supreme. There's Kevin O'Leary, an actress named Odessa A. Zion, who I thought was really good for how little I know about her. Marty Supreme, I adjusted the review for it, so I don't want to give another review, but I think the reason I loved this movie so much, and it was a 10 out of 10, it's so unique. The dialogue is very realistic. It's very back and forth. The whole movie is very fast paced to the point that you never have any time to breathe, really, at all. Marty Supreme, his character is absolutely unlikable because he is a sketchy, maybe not sketchy. Well, yeah, he's a con man. He lies, he cheats, he steals. He will step on anybody and anything to get what he wants. I was begging this character at some point to just do something right, ethically right, and he never really did until the very end. And what he did at the very end that I forgot to mention in the review is, for one, instead of taking the money from Kevin O'Leary's character, Mr. Rockwell, while he is in Japan, he says, hey, hold on. I want to play this guy, Endo, for the table tennis, best player in the world, basically, title. It wasn't the official championship because he gets banned from the actual event for his behavior earlier in the movie. But he eventually decides, forget about the money I could be making. I want to prove I'm the best table tennis player in the world against this guy. And he beats him. And he has this moment where you can tell that was his championship. And then at the very end, with the amazing soundtrack of Everybody Wants to Rule the World, he meets his newborn child, the child of Odessa Azion's character Rachel, for the first time, and just breaks down into tears. It felt like Marty Supreme, after seeing him be a lying, cheating, money-hungry scumbag for, God, how long was this movie? Like 2 hours, 30 minutes? He finally sees something beyond just money and beyond just trying to take advantage of people, his newborn child. And you can tell that he loves this child. And I think for the first time in his life, maybe, he sees life from a different perspective, okay? And it was really cool. His character growth and development seemingly comes within the last 20 minutes of the movie. Not a lot of movies are going to do that with their main character, dude. Really fun movie. Dude, it just goes all over the place, from him getting involved with, like, gangsters to him falling through the ceiling, because even in that scene, the guy told him, hey, don't use the shower. Does it anyway, falls through the ceiling, wants the guy to pay him back even more than what he originally paid to be at that hotel. It's just, this movie, Marty Supreme, is chaotic genius, and the word that I called it at the end of my review was unhinged. But Marty Supreme is my number 4 best movie of the year. Now we're getting into the top 3. Now, I know that some of the people that watch my channel are not gonna care for this movie, and I get it. However, it is an animated movie. It's an anime. Demon Slayer Infinity Castle. One of my most hyped movies for the entire year. Demon Slayer Infinity Castle made, I believe, over $500 million, which set a record for animated movies, I believe. I loved this. I loved everything about it. The animation was top-notch. I loved the backstory that they gave for Akaza. I love some of the other backstory that we got for some other characters. I love the voice acting that we got. I went and watched the dubbed version, and it was very, very good. My favorite character, Zenitsu. My theater was cheering for him. We're talking about a character that a few years ago, people all over the community were saying, this is the most annoying character that's ever existed. Zenitsu was a terrible character. He has no character development, and to see a theater full of people cheering was amazing. The action, of course, was freaking great. My personal favorite, obviously, being Zenitsu versus, is it Kaigaku? I want to say it's Kaigaku. Let's look it up real quick. Demon Slayer Infinity Castle. It is Kaigaku. So they both were students of a lightning, of a thunder Hashira. Zenitsu is the one that actually goes to pursue becoming a Hashira. Kaigaku is the one who strays from the path, becomes a demon, and then they have this epic fight. And oh my god, it was glorious. Zenitsu creates his own technique. I believe it's called Flaming Thunder God. And Kaigaku's like, when the hell did you learn this technique? And God, when they animated that scene, it was so good. Everything about this movie was so good. It deserves every penny that it made. And the fact that an anime, I think whatever movies were going on in the theater that month, it was beating those movies out. It better be at half, making over $500 million. But my point with this film and why it's so high up on my list is that one, it did something that other anime movies haven't done before it, and two, what did like I can't get, there was no critique I had for the movie. It was beautifully done. I will be watching this one again. I'm so happy to see anime becoming more mainstream, and this was sort of like an exclamation point, like, hey, anime is here when it comes to the pop culture, modern pop culture, and it's here to stay. So, Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, wow, I really loved this one. Now we're getting to the top two. Listen, some of you might be surprised, some of you might not be. I went back and forth. Either one of these could have been number one, and I'll explain why they are at where they are at. But number two was another horror film, vampire film, but elevated. I'm talking about Ryan Coogler's Sinners, starring Michael B. Jordan. Where do I start? One of the earlier movies in the year. I heard so much buzz and hype. If you haven't seen Sinners, go see Sinners. So I finally go and see it. What a masterpiece. What a masterpiece. We've seen plenty of vampire films before, but this was like elevated vampire horror that also incorporates like soulful blues music at its core, and had one of my favorite scenes of the year with Preacher Boy singing at their juke joint, and he's kind of connecting all of these different eras of like black music, everything from the blues to like hip hop to just drums and basic instruments to techno to electric guitar. It was, the scene itself gave me chills. That guy has an amazing voice, the guy that plays Preacher Boy. Just a very haunting, like chilling voice. It was really cool to see how important music was to the plot of this movie. It's what draws Remick, probably one of the best antagonists of the year, to the juke joint. And Remick badly wants Preacher Boy. He wants his power. And God, I can't say enough good things about Sinners. Michael B. Jordan is one of the must-see movie stars right now of our generation. And him and Ryan Coogler just seem to make good stuff together. They really do. The acting throughout the movie from everybody is well done. I really thought it was really cool. I felt Ryan Coogler blended so many different things and put it into one movie, and it just worked brilliantly. He incorporated horror, he incorporated music, he incorporated relationship drama, he incorporated some racial stuff as well. And then again, like at the end of the movie where the vampire stuff has ultimately been dealt with, then we get this really cool action scene with Michael B. Jordan just looking like a movie star, shooting all of the Klan members, killing all of them, and then passing on to the other side to be with his woman and his child that had passed away, I believe, in like childbirth. So that was a beautiful moment there. Just so many different aspects, and to do all of that and make it well done and beautifully written and beautifully shot. Oh, it's a beautiful movie. Hats off. Oh, excuse me. Hats off to Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan. Sinners. Dude, okay, I forgot to tell you one thing. Sinners, for a horror movie, I wish I would have had this queued up already. When I looked at the box office for horror movies of all time, it had set a record. So right here, it earned $368 million worldwide with a $90 million budget, mind you, becoming the highest grossing original movie of the 2020s and one of the top grossing horror films ever. It grossed $279 million domestically. That's straight off of Google. Yeah, I mean, this movie was that good. That's amazing. So Sinners is my number 2. Could have easily been my number 1. But number 1, the moment you've all been waiting for. Can I get a drum roll, please? God, I'm not good at drums. Anyway, this movie was based off a Stephen King novel. No, I am not talking about The Running Man. I'm sorry, Tyler. I am talking about The Long Walk. Oh my God. Really wasn't expecting anything going into this movie. I just thought I was very curious about the concept of 50 different young men, one from each state, Yeah, sorry, I just had a brain fart. Yeah, so one young man from each state compete in this competition called the Long Walk. It's basically walk or die. There is no finish line. If you fall below a certain speed, you will be shot and killed. If you break any of their rules, you will be shot and killed. If you try to run away, you will be shot and killed. Once you're in the competition, you are in it. Your only options are walk until you're the last one surviving or die. Fantastic film. I'm like, my brain is buzzing because of how much I love this movie. Basically, the reason it's my number one above Sinners is because of the way it ultimately made me feel compared to Sinners, which was, I think I was most emotional watching this movie than any other movie I saw throughout the year. As you see these young men walking, trying to fight things like weather, trying to fight things like malnutrition, trying to fight through injuries, trying to walk through, people maybe trying to sabotage them or get under their skin. At first, they are some of them that are against each other, okay? But they start to form bonds with one another, and they start to almost root for one another to win. They realize it shouldn't be them versus each other. It's them versus the corrupt system that they are living in at the time. And God, doesn't that sound relevant to our times, although this takes place in a more dystopian timeline where the economy is just so bad that they televise this event to inspire the nation. And I cannot talk enough about David Johnson's character. David Johnson in The Long Walk, he plays a character named Peter McVries. Peter McVries. Wow. This dude should win an award. He needs to win an award. The performance he gave in this movie was top notch. Top notch. He was so good, especially in that ending sequence where the other main character, who, it's been a while since I've seen this, pull it up real quick. The main character played by Cooper Hoffman. What was his name? Well, okay, I guess it's not going to tell me. But anyway, the main character that Cooper Hoffman plays, when he sacrifices himself, Ray Garrity, the look on David Johnson's face when he gets executed, I don't know what he pulled from the depths of his soul to give that performance. Freaking amazing. And again, they're walking the entire movie, and they made it interesting. Some of the contestants, again, decided that they weren't going to make it. So what would they do? They would charge some of the guards that are watching them with guns that are just on top of the tanks, making sure that they're obeying the rules. Some people would twist their ankle and they couldn't stay above that walking speed condition, and they would get shot. Other people had to go to the bathroom and crap their pants. Well, guess what? You're not allowed to stop for the bathroom, so you have to pull down your pants, take a dump in the middle of the road, which they did show in the movie, and then keep it moving. God, but just the brotherhood, the friendship, the bonds that they form while in this death trap of a competition, the way it was done was amazing. And especially this movie, like, I'm talking a lot about David Johnson, but really the entire cast did their job. The entire cast put in the work. The movie also has Mark Hamill, who plays the main antagonist, who's sort of the leader of this event. But yeah, The Long Walk just took me by complete surprise. Check it out if you haven't checked it out. I do have an official spoiler-free review on The Long Walk. I think my brain short-circuited trying to explain all the reasons that I really loved the movie. But like I said, I felt the most emotionally connected to this movie, The Long Walk. Guys, that was my top 10 best movies of 2025. I will come out with a top 10 worst movies eventually, because there are some movies that were not very good. But wow, Happy New Year's, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have been a supporter of mine, thank you. If you've subscribed, liked, commented, shared, I appreciate it. This has been a really fun year. My first year as a movie reviewer, and so I hope that, my videos can distract you from all the crazy negativity and just absurd things that go on in the world. Movies is one of my favorite forms of escapism. And I mean, like, if you're watching, I'm guessing it is for you as well. So I'd be very curious to hear what your top 10 list was. Please leave a comment. Do you think there's any picks that I made that you're like, wow, why is that on there? I want to hear about it. Guys, this has been Reviews by Hunter. My name is Hunter. I love all of you. I'll see you in the new year. Take care.